With a quorum of the board present, I call this meeting to order at 7:44 PM Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. This is an open meeting of the planning board being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Specific information and general guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Berlin website. The governor's order suspends the requirement of an open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location and allows and encourages us to participate remotely. For this meeting, the planning board is convening using the Zoom platform as posted on the agenda, which includes links for the public to join this meeting. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda after their concluding remarks. I will invite board members by name to provide any comments, questions, penetrating insights, and/or motions. Please hold all your insights until your name is called. Board members and speakers, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Speak clearly to ensure accurate minutes are recorded. And for any response, please wait until you're yielded the floor. State your name before speaking. If a board member wishes to engage in conversation with another board member, please do so through me to avoid multiple conversations happening at the same time. Lastly, please note, each vote in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Thank you all for your understanding and cooperation. Okay. So Mr. J is not, he's probably sleeping right about now, so we don't have any mail or any of that business to take care of. So it's now 7:46, so we should probably launch into our first agenda item, which was the joint meeting with the select board to continue our discussion with the mall and what we would allow based on the sheet that Peg Stone sent to all of us. So at this point in time, Carolyn, could you promote Peg to our band of merry makers?
You got it.
Thank you.
Band of what, Tom? You cut out as soon as I started to
I
kick
said
over.
merry makers.
Yeah. All right.
You can go back and watch the videotape. I'm sure that it was all above board.
It's all right. Unfortunately, it's just me tonight. Kristen is under the weather and unable to come. And we forgot to post a meeting to come and have a quorum, but I also bring you news that the other two board members do not feel that it is within the select board's purview to participate in this at all. And they have not provided any type of input for land uses and feel that the best people here to take this forward are the ones I see before me tonight.
Well,
So
that's an immense amount of trust that you put into us.
isn't it? It's huge.
Right?
It is huge.
Hopefully we don't get heady over this.
But yet, nope, try as I may just to convince them, and Kristen tried to convince them that it truly just was, hey, just suggest, are there any things that you don't absolutely want to see in town or things that you would love to absolutely see in town? And no, I got squat. So, I
Would
was
you be-
hoping that it would be a unified front that we could go to Marlboro with to make our choices stronger, but at this point in time, I don't think it's going to happen. Will it change? I don't know. I don't speak for the board. I don't speak for Chris. I don't speak for Scott, but I can tell you both did not participate and
Okay.
will not participate in the exercise.
So would you be willing to share your thoughts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
You've done the exercise and you've put some thought into this, so.
Yep. And and to your question earlier, I've got a blank sheet. So if you guys want to say yes, no, maybe on each one, I can tally for
Okay.
you. So
If
Carolyn, you don't
want
have
do
to
that, that's
worry.
fine.
All right. And do you want me to screen share it for the
Yeah.
recording?
Yep.
And since only Peter's in the audience, do you want to elevate Peter
Sure,
as well?
please.
Sure. Maybe. Oh, there we go.
I'm not sure what I can contribute. My hair is not good tonight, so I might have a problem.
I
Right.
hate a bad hair night. Totally affects my thought process.
Exactly.
You're welcome no matter what, Peter.
Oh, you're the best. I take back
Thank you.
what I've been saying about you.
Save it
All
for
right.
next year when I'm up for reelection.
Yeah. there you go.
Is it you or me?
Not
Oh,
this
probably
coming
both.
year, it's the following year, so, for me.
For you,
on a
right? I
5-year
think I'm
plan.
next year.
I
You
think so.
both have my vote.
Excellent.
All right, I'm gonna screen share the table that we are talking about so that folks at home can follow along.
So, I don't know, there's nobody in the audience, right?
No.
Okay, all right, so we don't need to.
Tim, you'll keep an eye and see if anybody shows up because when I'm screen sharing, I can't see.
I'll keep track.
All right.
Okay. So Peter, do you realize what this is, what you're seeing?
Mostly no, because I'm far away from the TV and I'm projecting this on the TV and I can't read.
Okay, so real quick is this is it was a document produced by Marlboro and Peg gleaned through this and pulled out some allowable uses that Marlboro is intending to modify some zoning and shared it with us and asked us to go through and say whether we were 100% yes or 100% no, or you know, on these various things so that we can sort of come to sort of an agreement or an idea or coalesce around some allowable uses that wouldn't be a real heavy lift, but also push back on some stuff that Marlboro would be interested in allowing that we would not be really willing to go along with. So this is.
Hold on a second. Tim asked me for SEDC to give feedback as to the either proposed or current adopted zoning list. Tim, do you remember that?
So,
Is that-
so
is-
Peter, remember a couple years ago, we got from Liz, the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission's report, that 120-page report from to Marlboro about redoing Donald Lynch Boulevard. And what Peg has done is pulled from the big list those uses that Marlboro has willingly said they'd include in the rezoning.
Is
So
that the-
basically, it's that list that we started with a couple years ago. And that's what we've been kicking around now for a while. When we met with them, you know, back a year ago or whatever, when Meredith and who was, I can't even remember his name anymore. I mean, all those different people that we've met with, but. So this is the same list that we've always been looking at. It's just, it's condensed now just to include the uses that Marlboro wants to include rather than a whole shopping list that included a number of items that they weren't gonna throw into that zone.
I think line 23 yard sales is a good use of his space.
Right. The other thing is Peg did get clarification about what the different colors are. Peg, do you remember what that was?
Yeah, so LI, to Tom's question a couple weeks ago, was limited industrial. And what the colors are is that for the, like, if you look at family dwelling, where it's no, but it's SP green, so it wasn't allowed, but it is now allowed under special permit. And where there's a Y and it's pink SP, that is also now allowed. It did not need a special permit, but now requires a special permit. And if you look all the way to the left where it has yard sales, sales bazaar, parenthesis 8, that has to do with information that they have. It just matches up to like their bylaws that they have.
Okay,
So that's all, just to try to get clarification on what the colors were, because people were a little wiggy. And Yeah, there were a few. So if you look down under the existing zones where there's no, what I tried to do was hide them. Because if it's a no, then there really wasn't any use to put them there. So what we can do, Carolyn, is we go through and it comes up to a no, I can just scratch it off. I mean, this has
Okay.
been moved around a couple times, so things are gonna unhide. Not a biggie.
Aren't there several uses that we all
Mm,
on like residential, but not over 200 or 300 units?
Not even 200 or 300 units.
We had talked about allowing multi-res in there. Some of, depending on the board member, we have different ideas of the size that would be okay, palatable, let me put it that way.
But wasn't it
The-
palatable, something
the-
like 200 or 300 or above?
Yeah, the important thing to note is that when we met with them, and I think, Peter, I think it was the meeting you were in, and they said that the big players that do multifamily housing and projects like this would want 300 to 400 units.
Right.
And I think the ability, I don't think the planning board's particularly interested in seeing 300 to 400 units, and I think we all would appreciate the fact that it wouldn't get through town meeting anyway, even if we were supportive of it. So I don't know what that magic number is. I think it's below 2, but it may very well have to be even lower than that in order to get through town meeting. I think 200 is what's at Riverbridge, and I think a lot of people look at that and think it's excessive. So I think we appreciate the fact that it put us in a position where we protected the entirety of the town from 40Bs going forward for quite a few years, which I don't think everybody fully appreciates. But another project of that size might be difficult to push. So I think I'd say that we're open to multifamily dwelling, but we want to restrict the number, and we'd probably, through some forums and some other activity, get some better sense as to what people would be willing to vote for.
Don't we need to calculate the revenue stream that a 200, 100, 500 residents complex would bring? Isn't that going to be a serious consideration, what people's taxes are going to be?
You mean, you think if we could demonstrate that 500 units would have a big impact on the taxes in town for a single family residence, that it would be more likely to pass? And yeah, I'm not sure I don't think that's the way people are going to look at it entirely.
I would agree. The amount of complaining that I have heard about just the apartments.
I think it's a data point that we shouldn't skip over.
I think what we can say tonight is we're open to multifamily dwellings, and there has to be some more research done between now and when it would go to a town meeting vote.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, but I think none of us are saying no. I don't hear that.
So what other low-hanging fruit is there?
Right, well, let's go through the list.
So Peter, we actually had copies of this that were distributed last meeting. So the planning board members have gone through, and we've gone, our yes, no, already. And so we're just going to run through, and Peg was going to tally up, and then, see if we can come to a consensus with what's somebody, both planning board and Peg are willing to agree to, and then whether there's going to be just no, that's not going to pass muster. So that was what this exercise was designed to do.
Got it.
Trying to freeze the panes so that as we move, those headings stay.
So Carolyn, if you go to if you go up like on number
Yeah.
2,
Yeah,
Well, you don't want that one, so you want,
Right,
one do
like
you want?
3 through 6, oops. What the? So I went to
try,
these.
try review. Mm,
Mm. Page layout?
Data. No,
No, they always move things.
I know. Try
Uh,
view. Oh, no. There should
Oh,
be,
no, there it is, freeze
There you go.
panes. Yep. Now I gotta highlight them again.
okay.
All right. So, whoop, that didn't work,
Lies.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's all right.
well, anybody, anyway, yes, no,
Okay.
maybe.
Yep.
Okay, so multi-family dwelling, we're gonna say we're maybes.
I think we're yes with contingencies.
Okay,
So yes or maybe. How I did mine when I really didn't know what it was, I just put a check under maybe with a question mark, and that for me was maybe I need more information on
That'd be-
this.
That's fine with me.
All right. All right, so. Okay. All right.
uh, comprehensive development. So what exactly would be considered a comprehensive development?
Like Riverbridge with, you know, these multiple.
Multi and forty
uses.
B and everything else.
Yeah, so
For me, I guess I would score that the same way. Or,
that's fine with me.
Okay. Trailer home?
We,
uh,
we
hard no.
can't allow that anywhere, so I
We can't allow it, so is that 4 no?
Which one?
just don't see it as a
Trailer
use
homes.
in that overlay. It
Yeah, I
might
had
be,
no.
yeah, it might be fine for their whole strip, but not the overlay.
Okay. All right. Uh, Retirement
Retire-
communities.
That's fine with me.
Tom
Yeah.
and Carolyn?
I mean, so for me, it would have to be a question mark, the maybe question mark kind of thing. It would more information, but it's not a hard no.
Yeah, I had by special permit, I'd consider it.
Yep,
All right,
Yeah.
so 2 yes and a maybe. Maybe question mark. Okay,
So what exactly would residential accessory uses be?
I don't know how they define it.
or question mark?
Given the size of the complex, it probably is not applicable.
You want a question mark? Under maybe?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
took it
sure.
as like a separate, if you had a large apartment building, then this might be a separate place to, store excess furniture or, lockers or bicycles or that type
Storage
of stuff.
units for
Mhm.
the,
Yeah, for the residents. That's what I took it as, but I'm not clear on it enough. I had it as a maybe under a special permit.
Okay,
yep, I would say the same for me.
okay. Customary home occupations.
Ooh,
That should be permitted as a right.
They switched from by right to special permit. I can see why they might do that in a situation where people are on top of each other.
Any yeses?
Yeah, I'm
Say
fine.
yes.
Tim's a yes, Tom, are you a yes?
I'm actually a no.
Okay,
Really?
Carolyn?
I would be a special permit.
So 2 yeses, 1 no. Yard
Uh,
sales.
So when I first read this, I lost sight of the fact that they're talking about residential uses. All I could see was like a Sunday morning flea market kind of thing. If it was residential, guess I don't know. What do
So
you-
answer me this, would you like to see yard sales, bazaar, sales or whatever down in front of the Rockwood? On any given Saturday or Sunday?
Right, so I guess that's the difference. If it's just somebody who's moving and selling some stuff to not have to move at all, and it's one Saturday, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. If it's an every weekend, someone's doing this as a second business, I have a problem with that.
So what happens if that you have 16 people and each one takes a turn at a Saturday or a Sunday?
Right,
So you have one every single weekend, but it's different people,
They've got it listed as special permit.
right? So I went back to what happens over at, where we have the over 55. And
Mhm.
they don't allow it at all, period. And it's, I learned that because we tried to do it with my, with my folks unit. And they said absolutely not. And so we couldn't do an estate sale, a tag sale, or anything like that. So I was upset when I had to go through it personally, but I could see where it was beneficial to their whole community. So I came down on the no side on this
You've
one.
convinced me I'm no now.
yeah, that you've convinced me as well. No.
Okay. Artist studio, live work gallery space. Oh, that's a no, never mind. Woo, skip that one. Next one's a no.
No,
it's a special
it
permit
was
now.
a no and now it's
Okay.
special permit.
Yeah.
All right, So-
Um,
artist studio,
in a strictly residential setting.
Well,
Um,
it's in the overlay that's the Salmon Pond Mall.
Sure, but this is under residential use.
I know, but I mean, it's still in that overlay zone. I look at that as, people fully aware of what they're gonna be jumping into if they buy a unit or whatever, if they own or rent. So I guess I don't have trouble with artist studio.
Tom and Carolyn, so is that a yes, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, Tom, Carolyn,
I was under a yes.
Carolyn?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Recording studio,
right. So do you feel the same way about that?
I did actually.
If it wasn't in the residential zone, that one I'd buy into, but I think, I don't know why they've got it as a residential use,
Well,
To me,
I
it
focus
seems-
more on the live workspace.
yeah.
So if they were willing to put like a 12-unit outbuilding or something like that, where they had an enclave of artists that were in a live workspace, then that's how I took it.
Yeah, and of course, Riverbridge at first had talked about live
Mhm.
workspace.
They did.
And
Right.
they couldn't find the way to go forward with that, but
Well, same with the restaurant and same with the other proposed
Yeah.
uses that they dangled in front of us. I don't think they tried all that hard. personally.
recording studio, live workspace.
So I think I'm gonna fall on the special permit side of that.
so
I
that's a
think
yes,
yeah, with special permit. I think it's more situational than just yes
Yeah.
or no.
Tom,
Same.
Yeah,
Tim?
I'm okay with it, if, understanding that that's the criteria, yeah.
all right. Business use, convert buildings to office bank insurance.
Yes.
Yep, I'm fine.
I had a no.
All right,
Curious, just briefly, if we explain every single one of them, but I'm curious why.
So in this one, to convert a mall space to an office space, the configuration is just, it's not really tenable to do that.
But
But
aren't we also talking about just the destruction of like Sears in a completely new?
That's what I was
facility?
thinking. Like, if they just tear down Sears and put up an office building.
you'll have a vacant office building.
Well, there's still one down the street, I think,
We can
but
still tax
There's
it for
several down the
something.
street.
Yeah.
And there's several around the corner. So the likelihood of that happening is going to be remote.
but a bank,
I'm still okay with it, even
Yeah.
if, yeah.
all right, so
2 yeses and a no.
2
you
yeses
still a
and
no?
a
All
no.
right,
I'm still a no.
okay. Retail sales and services.
So the first one is less than 75,000,
Feet, and the other one is more.
right? Just for a frame of reference, does anybody know about how big Sears is?
That's gotta be a couple 100,000.
Okay. So the first one is smaller. So I'm a yes.
Tom,
I'm a yes.
And
Tim,
I'm a yes.
okay. Office banks, insurance and
Well,
financial.
wait. Now we
What?
Have
have
it
more
greater
than
than
75,000.
Oh, okay,
And I would be a yes with a special permit.
And the reason why?
Cause what if it's 500,000 square feet?
But you have an existing over 1 million square feet there now.
Is it really that much?
Yeah. Like it's like 1,050,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
To
All
me,
right,
we were willing to put a huge one in there now, and it sort of goes along with the retail space that you have, right?
okay.
If it's complementary, I'm not trying to sway your decision.
Yeah, no, it's more
Trying to
just,
understand it.
do you
understand it.
put some sort of parameters on how big can it be?
Which, and I agree, and I think that you to have somebody come in and propose something, they're gonna want to have input from us anyways. They're not gonna just willy-nilly plunk down a 500,000 square foot building.
Right.
They don't have the space right now. I mean, the pad that's left over, I suppose if they went vertically, they probably could do it, but the pad itself is not they're not that big.
Right, well, the vertical, I assume there's language in the current development agreement about how tall, how high it can be.
There is.
Yep.
Okay. Um. So then, yeah, I'd be a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
okay. All right,
Alright.
now moving down to banks, office banks, insurance and financial institution.
Not sure what's so different about this one. Oh, so this would be new construction where this one was convert?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Cause they've got,
But that's allowed by right.
correct, which is how they've got it here, whoops.
That's
The,
weird.
that is weird.
So you take an existing structure, if you want to convert it, you need a special permit. If you have no structure and you want to build it, it's by right. I'm not willing to let things fall into place by right most of the time. I'd like input from the public. So if I'd say yes with a special permit.
Carolyn?
I would say yes. I mean, I think those are innocuous.
Tom?
And I'm a no to follow with my no from above.
Okay. Okay.
So now
Schools.
for business, trade, music, dance, television, and or radio broadcasting studios, not including towers.
I love it.
Uh,
Yes.
straight out or with a special permit?
Oh, I'm looking at their chart, and if it says special permit, I'm assuming that we're following suit, so, yeah.
Okay. I'm yes with a special permit.
Same with me.
Commercial radio and television towers and wireless communications facilities. Hmm.
Commu-
Right.
Do they even use those anymore? What the hell are we talking about?
Well,
No,
yeah,
no.
so like a cell tower
Yeah,
would be a perfect example.
I mean, we allow cell towers in the limited business zone, is that where it is?
We have it in a couple of different zones.
Yeah.
But we put in a 750-foot fall zone around there.
Right,
So if you allow this, we're going to be running afoul of our cellular bylaw. Because the 750-foot fall zone would affect most of the spot on that property,
which would disallow it.
would disallow it under our current zoning.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to say no, given the fact that it ought to comply with what's going on in the rest of town. And they can't, on that, like you say, on that parcel, they can't do it unless they do it in the conservation
Which
land.
we won't allow them to do it anyways.
That was funny, Tim, actually.
Right?
Mhm.
Isn't, yeah,
Now
which goes against the CR, so it would
Down
be
with the
allowed
detention
there.
basins that are falling apart, right?
Tim just said that to watch Carol on Twitch.
He does.
But what is
They love to toy with me.
I
what is the
noticed.
fall zone? What does
What
that
is
mean? What
What'd
does a
you
fall
say?
zone mean? What does a fall zone mean?
So if the tower collapses and it has to have a 750-foot zone around it, circular zone around it, so it can fall without affecting any buildings, people, anything like that.
Is that a common restriction?
We've had that in our bylaw since 2008, 2007, whenever we wrote it. And we had help from, at the time, we brought in a person that was in the business of developing cell towers, and he thought that that was a good provision to have in there.
So the cell tower on Coburn certainly
Mhm.
violates that premise.
Yep. There's a 750-foot fall zone around there. In fact, when they put it in, he had intended to develop some housing on the property. And he came to us and asked us to give him relief. And we said, no, because you put the cell tower in, we granted you that. And now you're coming back to us with your additional idea and we're not going to allow it. You knew the rules and regulations when you put the cell tower in. So
Right,
he
well,
was a
I'm
little
saying-
disappointed.
The tower,
Self-imposed hardship.
the tower that exists would fall on the house across the street from on Coburn.
Should be less than 750 feet. You should exceed 750 feet from the base of the tower to your residence.
Gotcha. All right, thanks.
All right.
Unless he snuck something by us.
All right. So Carolyn,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, no, maybe?
Oh, for the towers? and
Commercial
the-
radio and towers, yeah.
I am a no.
Tom,
And I'm a no.
Tim?
No,
Okay.
The next one I can say I am a yes.
Tom,
I'm a yes.
Tim,
Yes,
hotel,
yes,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes,
Carolyn, all right. Hotels less than 100 rooms,
yes,
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 hotels with conference facilities and commercial uses.
yes,
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 Oh, we're picking up gas now. Residential conference and training center with food and recreation services.
yes,
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 Recreation center,
yes,
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 recreation and entertainment indoors.
yes,
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 Private club, nonprofit.
yes,
Tim,
So, so that's like an Elks or a,
Moose,
yeah,
yep, yes,
Carolyn,
yes.
club,
Carolyn, you could create a club and have it there, huh?
Right?
I'm a
You and
yes.
your Turners.
Right, so I guess, so what does that mean, though?
not private,
Which one? The not-profit?
club,
The next one down, just
Club.
clubs.
A nightclub, what is, yeah, I guess a question mark, we need greater detail.
Right,
so do you want 4 yeses question mark or 4 maybes question mark?
I mean, I'm happy to be a yes question mark, yeah.
Okay,
same,
Yeah, same.
all right. Self-service laundry,
I'm a yes.
they would get their water from Marlboro, I assume,
Yes, yeah. Right now, everything's through Marlboro.
right? But I could be a yes.
Tim,
I mean, I'm a yes. The interesting part about this discussion that is gray is what would Marlboro be willing to accommodate? You know, if we add 200 housing units, is Marlboro still willing to pick up septic and supply water, you know? Or would they say, no, I'm not so sure, you know, that's, we somehow we've got to have those conversations with Marlboro.
Well, I agree with you, Tim. However, there's got to be, if it was built on their side and of the ledger, and they were allowing it by right, wouldn't they wind up having to provide the water and sewer anyways? Take our side off the table for a second. If this mall was 100% in Marlboro, right? And they were allowing something by right, they would have to provide the services.
That's true. I'm not sure Marlboro feels that an overlay continues to exist that binds them to the same terms that we assumed they were bound to 30 years ago.
So are they willing to throw out the entire municipal agreement?
They said, the lawyer that came in when we met with Matt Bader, suggested that it had never been recorded.
Okay,
And so he wondered if it, you know, does it exist?
Hmm.
And what they've done here is impose a whole series of new uses that weren't in that list that we would have established 30 years ago.
right.
And I'm not sure yet whether they feel like they're required to only place uses in the overlay that we agree to, or whether they can independently move forward with this master list, regardless of whether there's an overlay in Berlin or not.
So, so if that's the case, they have this infrastructure in place now to take care of an existing mall that
Right.
services both towns. Right?
But,
So
you know,
if they make amendments to the physical property, they're going to separate the services?
I see if a hotel shows up in Berlin and 200 housing units, the
Yeah.
water usage is gonna go through the roof compared
Absolutely
to
it will.
where it is now. And that's a big discussion that I think needs to take place. Would, you know, do they feel bound by that early agreement? Does it continue
Cor-
into the present day?
Correct. So if it flopped onto their side of everything and
Yeah.
they wound up getting 100% of the taxes and what have you, is this a
Mhm.
different conversation? Because they say, well, it's in our best interest to be able to do this. We're getting
Well-
100% of the taxes.
Look at the situation. Berlin had a possible host agreement with a marijuana dispensary on Banner Road.
That is correct, yes.
Marlboro said, we don't allow that use in our zone. So you can't travel through our zone to get to your zone to practice that use. And
Yes,
now marijuana is on this list for Marlboro.
correct.
So, you know, don't, I'm not sure how they're defining the zone anymore or how they would respond to these questions. And that's where it gets so much more complex than
I
just
agree
this laundry
100%.
list.
So if we're being the petulant little brother that's,
Yeah.
on this side of the ledger, we can be petulant enough to hang any type of potential suitor that's coming in to, come in to redevelop this or whatever. I mean, they would look at, okay, you two aren't on the same page. So why would I get in, bed with people that are having disagreements about fundamental things that should have been solved ahead of time?
Right,
Well,
if there's a potential that we're gonna sue over something,
Mhm.
then that's gonna scare anybody away from
Absolutely.
doing something.
Right, exactly.
so at
So-
some point, I think we need this select board to free town council to come and start chatting with us about how they interpret that overlay and whether it still has any teeth.
And just because it was failed to be recorded, to me seems, the spirit of it behind it and the agreement and everybody played by the rules for 20+ years. Now all of a sudden it's by convenience that it was a clerical error that it wasn't recorded and now we're gonna throw it out because, it's for their convenience. I don't buy it.
Right,
Yeah.
my feeling is that they would lose that argument,
It seems to me that
especially because it's been so long
Correct.
that, that we've all played by the rules.
recording it has all to do with public notice. An agreement has to do with the parties and what they agreed or didn't agree to. So they're two different issues.
Because we're dependent on them for water and septic, it seems as though they have a bargaining chip that makes this far more complex.
Agreed.
So I just think we need town council to chime in as to how to move forward. And then we need, I mean, I've reached out to Meredith a couple times and haven't heard back. So, I think we may get, I mean, Peg, you're back and forth with Meredith, and I
Mhm.
think probably get Peg to help us, but
Mhm.
at some point, we need to have a better understanding from Meredith as to whether, I mean, the permissible building areas and permissible parking areas and permissible, the height requirements for certain parts of the structure, do those exist
Lighting, I mean,
anymore, or are they
yes.
gone?
Yeah,
There are lots that Sears owns and Penny's owns and Macy's owns that are independent from the rest of the complex. And how do those people come to the table? and participate in this process. There's just some great questions, I think, but it makes it complex to try to figure out exactly how you'd move forward with some of these possible uses.
So we left off without a vote for medical office / clinic.
I'm yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Dental clinic.
Yes.
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 Poll, please. Consumer service establishments.
Again, what does that mean?
All right. You know what? I'll just put instead of voting, you know what? I'll just put a big question mark. And that will need some more skinny. All right. Commercial greenhouse.
And that's by right and
I'm a yes.
their list.
I'm a yes.
Yep.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Motel.
Sure.
Yep.
I'm a yes.
Mixed use development.
I'm a
Yes.
Yes.
Carolyn.
Yes.
Brew pub.
Decidedly.
Extra yes.
I'm a yes.
Coffee shop, not coffee, copy shop, newspaper offices.
If they can find one that needs a
I know.
space,
I
God
know.
love them.
I'm a yes.
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 Outdoor recreation uses.
I'm
This
a
becomes a,
yes with special permit because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very cognizant of what the neighbors are going to say.
right. I
Right.
agree.
Carolyn,
Same.
open air market.
Same, special permit.
Tim, Carolyn,
I go between flea market and farmer's market. Like farmer's market, I'm okay with, flea market, I'm not. So I guess special permit.
Tim,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Marlboro. Did they say yes by right?
Special permit.
Yes, I'm fine with special permit.
hey, shopping mall. Would you
What?
like another shopping mall there?
I'm a yes.
Yeah,
I'm a
I'm
yes.
fine. I mean, they're not gonna happen, but
Soil removal. I can tell you from our limited discussion last night, from Scott and I, that was kind of like a big fat no.
Yeah, that's how I'm leaning
I'm a
as well.
no.
I don't see any reason why they'd have to remove soil. It'd already been stripped anyway.
Right.
Accessory uses.
Question mark.
Okay.
Whatever the hell that means.
Right.
Public, private, commercial establishments, recreation grounds, or places of amusement.
Places of amusement.
This is recorded, Carolyn. Smile.
Right, yeah. I'm not entirely sure how that's different from so many of the other things. So I guess I would be a question mark.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a special permit.
All right. Restaurant, cafe.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Restaurant with drive-in or drive-through facilities.
I'm a no on that.
Gentlemen,
I'm under a special permit, but I'm should be a no. I'm
Tim?
trying to be
I'll be a no
progressive.
for now.
All right. Restaurant serving food outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
Well, special permit, I think that we have the
Yeah, me
neighbors
too,
to
special
consider
permit.
again on that.
Yeah.
Restaurant for employee use.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a yes.
Tim Tom?
I'm a special permit.
So
Tim?
that would be like if they put a big office building in and they
Right,
had a
they had a
restaurant in
cafeteria.
the office
Mhm.
for, like a cafeteria.
Right, but I wanna know whether this is a 24/7 or what are the parameters around this?
Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it should be a yes. I think it should be by special permit. So yes, with a special permit.
Okay.
I would have trouble with almost any of these uses being allowed by right, in that zone. I just think it ought to be more public scrutiny. So special permit, I would say I'm looking for in most any of these uses.
All right. Drive-through facilities?
I'm a special permit.
Yeah, I mean, banks, pharmacies, all
Yep.
that sort of stuff, sure.
Carolyn?
Special permit.
Narcotic detoxification and or maintenance facility.
I'm a no.
Carolyn?
I would say a no. I
Tim?
think there's plenty of other uses.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Medical marijuana treatment center.
I'm a no.
Tim?
no,
Carolyn?
Nope.
Adult use marijuana retail. Accessories
Only-
retail.
only in Berlin.
I'm a no.
Well, that is one of the only places that our bylaw allows it by zoning.
No. That wasn't one of the only places.
It was one of the few.
Yes,
So if we said no, aren't we going against our own bylaw?
Carolyn, you've stumped them. Look at the both of them. They're looking
See?
up and to the right. Mhm.
uh,
I'm gonna say that I'm a yes with a special permit.
Tom?
If we were gonna allow it at Banador, I assume that we'd allow it.
all right, I'll say yes with a special permit.
Carolyn?
Same.
Similar but different medical and or adult use marijuana cultivator. Testing lab, product manufacturer, or transporter.
I'm gonna say no. Not with other retail stuff, certainly.
Right, I'm a no.
Tim? And honestly, the
I'm a
money has
question-
kind
I'm a
of sailed on
question
that.
I'm a question on that one.
Okay, all right, one question and two no. Winery, brewery, or distillery with a tasting room.
Ah, yeah, here we go.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a yes.
Yes, yes, please.
Yep.
That's right, Carolyn needs to chew her beer. All right. Under agricultural, public, and institutional use, agriculture, horticulture, or floriculture, greater than 5 acres.
I'm a
Sure.
yes.
They can pull it off. I don't know how to
Yeah.
do it, but
Seeing
Yeah.
how we're right to farming community, I don't see how we could say no.
Right, I would say yes.
Churches and religious buildings.
yep.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Public recreation and conservation.
What the hell does that mean?
Mhm.
Honestly, I think it means like trails and
And public conservation? What is public conservation? I don't,
I don't know, but I can't say no to that.
oh, no. No, so we'll say yes for Carolyn's sake. but-
Okay. All right, public, private, religious schools, museums, libraries, parks, rec facilities, buildings, playgrounds.
Yep,
Yes,
Special permit.
Dedham, I don't know, as you can. I think you might get site plan approval, but I don't know if you can get a special permit.
I'll indicate it.
I think that Dedham case years ago for religious purposes.
Even for museums?
They've lumped it
Um,
in.
Right, so like, to me, not every single one of those things is on the same
Same
playing field.
level. Yeah, so
Right.
let's put a question mark, but yes, with a question mark. I mean, there's gotta be some definition here.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree. Yep,
childcare centers,
yep,
I'm a yes.
Yes,
public utilities, not including storage, yard, or repair shop.
so like a National Grid office kind of thing? Like what,
Like the one in Northborough on Barefoot. Mhm. Question mark?
question mark?
Yeah, I have a question mark on that.
Public buildings.
Sure,
Might- Tim, Tom?
Yes.
yep,
Water tower and reservoirs.
yep.
Yes.
really?
Carolyn,
Gotta have the same fall zone.
Well, I mean, Sennies have got a water tower
Do they?
at Riverbridge, sure.
Yeah.
that big blue thing by the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
All right. All right. I'll
I
go,
think
yeah.
if they had an apartment complex here, there'd probably be there'd have to be some provision for,
Right. Holding on to water.
maybe, I don't know,
Depends.
All right, floodplain and wetland protection district.
Hard yes.
Yep,
Yes.
Water supply protection district.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Industrial uses. Anybody want an airport or a heliport?
No,
No.
I have a no.
And we're back to newspaper printing and publishing, job printing.
They really want a newspaper in there, don't they?
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
They want
allowing it,
3
right?
times.
Yeah.
with a special permit, yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Same.
Manufacturing where the majority of items are sold on premise to the consumer.
Yep,
Yeah. I can't even think of what that would be. I mean, I guess I would go yes with a special permit.
That's what I am at. Yes, with a special permit.
Okay. Transportation terminal and freight depot.
Is a transportation terminal like a
Bus?
bus hub? And if that's the case, yes. If it's not, if it's more associated with some sort of freight depot, no. But my sense is that it's a transportation hub, so that'd be fine. Freight depot, no.
Right.
I was a no.
Right. So is it a warehouse where trucks, like, is it that kind of terminal where trucks bring goods in to be then put on other trucks that then leave from there?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what it is, it's no for me.
Right. So I'm gonna
Mark.
say for me, a question mark on that.
Okay,
Transportation terminal has to be
defined.
defined.
And we're getting down there, a few more to go. Research and experimental lab.
I'm a yes.
Tim,
I'm not by right, it's gonna have to be by special
Special
permit.
permit. Agreed.
Special
I
permit.
I mean, how can they allow an experimental lab by right? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
light non-nuisance manufacturing.
By right, again, I do.
Special permit.
They manufacture non-nuisances? Like,
Non-nuisance, yeah? Mhm.
yeah,
And they're light ones, they're not heavy.
Right.
well, that's good.
All right, I'll mark it down as a special permit. Light manufacturing using portable electric machinery.
I'm a yes by special
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Same.
Um, light manufacturing incidental to research.
Same thing, yes, with by special permit.
Yep, I agree with Tom.
Same.
Associated accessory research uses.
Same thing, yes, with a special permit.
Yep,
Same.
Manufacturing and or warehousing.
Same
No.
thing, yes, with a special permit.
No, we got Tom, we got Tim as a no.
manufacturing, I mean, they've got these other manufacturing, light manufacturing, I'm fine. Warehousing, I have, that scares the hell out of me. That's Amazon, you know, that's,
True.
I
Right.
think that's,
And the fact that they distinguish between light manufacturing and manufacturing, to
right.
me says that's noisy, heavy equipment kind of stuff. So
Right.
I'm a no on that.
Tim?
No,
Retail, oh, two more. Oh, no, a few more. Retail sales accessory to manufacturing.
well, if we're not allowing manufacturing, if it said light manufacturing, that's one thing, but they've already got that up above.
Right,
So
Correct.
I guess I'd have to say no to this one.
Tom?
I was a yes by special permit.
Carolyn?
No.
Rec center indoor and out.
Yes.
I'm a yes by special permit.
Yep, by special permit.
Dry cleaning.
I'm a yes by special permit.
Yep, I'm fine.
Carolyn?
Same as Tom.
Electric power substation for changing bulk power to distribution voltage.
I'm a
Is
yes.
this
by
the battery
special permit.
storage thing?
Yeah, exactly.
We should schedule a conversation about that. I would like to have more information about what that's all about. That's becoming a big thing.
I asked the fire chief if he would work with us on generating language because he's familiar with some other language that other communities have developed, and he said, yeah, he'd be happy to work with us, so,
Okay,
We should get him on the agenda.
yeah.
I'll plop that down as a question mark where more info is needed. Accessory uses in service buildings.
I'm a yes by special permit.
Yeah, I think hardly any case here would I allow stuff by right, so as long as there's special permit, I'm fine.
Okay. Data storage and telecommunications facilities.
Same thing, yes by
Yeah.
special permit.
And a coffee roastery. It's about time they got the coffee house in there.
Right?
Sounds good.
Yes.
I'm a yes by special permit.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take all my notes. I will add Kristen's. I will sit down with hers. I am not privy to what she wanted. I will send this back to you. And then I will leave it in all your capable hands for next steps. And please know that even though the board may not support you now, I will always be willing to do whatever I can do, either in a resident perspective or chair of the select board. So, but again, it might be kind of clunky if the other two were not interested in
Right.
it. I don't want to run rogue. So,
We as a board had decided that we would reach out to Marlboro, and Tom, Andrew and I were gonna try to touch base with Meredith, and, you know, I'll try Meredith again. If I strike out, I'll get you involved, because
absolutely. Yep.
I mean, I may be going into junk on her end, although she and I have communicated in the past, so, you know, what?
I got you, Tim. Cool. Well, thank you. I bid you a lovely evening, and I will be back shortly.
Hey, thanks for
Alrighty.
putting
Thank
that
you for your help.
together.
You
Thanks
betcha.
a lot.
Made it
Bye-bye.
easier.
Take
Okay.
care.
Bye. All right.
Good.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, and I think it definitely helps take that massive list and make it more workable in that, oh, okay, here are the couple of things that we either want more information about or disagree with, or, you know, so that we can narrow the focus.
Right.
Right.
Cool.
So, I think, Tom, do you want to send a little note to the select board and just say, we'd like to have town council chat with us about how to interpret the binding nature of the overlay?
Okay. I
Or
will.
does it make sense to, I mean, sure, we can chat with town council, but does it make sense for town council to sit down now with Marlboro and the mall?
Well, I think it does, but,
They need to be up to speed first.
you know, we need to get her so she understands what our concerns are. And the other
Sure.
thing is that, Peter, do you know if the mall is gonna hire another firm to work on marketing the project? I mean, Bader was dismissed and the team before him was dismissed. Is there a new group that's gonna be in play?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't know.
Well,
I can't imagine they'd be naked.
why don't I reach out to Liz and just say, hey, you know, you're up for sale, but is there a new entity that's come into play to help someone, or are you waiting for some new owner to engage someone to help with their marketing?
Well, there's not new owners. There's a receiver.
But
Receiver is the decision maker.
I think Peg and Kristen came back from the last meeting with the notion that it's on the block again.
I think it's
is-
been for sale all along.
I remember seeing an article in the Community Advocate late summer, like August, September-ish, maybe, saying that it was being put on the market. So it made it sound like it hadn't been and it was again, or it was now.
It's been on the market for a year or two, for sure.
Hmm.
I think that the management company is different than the sales
Right.
and marketing, and which is different than the receiver who operates as the owner.
Yeah. Well, I'd be happy to reach out to Liz and just get some definition on some of these issues.
I think it would be good to have some clarity.
Yeah, I can do that for the next time we meet.
Okay.
So Tim, the lawyer that was at the meeting that was questioning the validity of the agreement, was that a lawyer for the mall? Was that a lawyer for Marlboro?
So Bader had brought him in to help understand the zoning intricacies. Because when we first met, we said, you know, Marlboro very easily said, we've done this study, here are the list of uses, we've done all the work, why don't, you know, couldn't you just agree to these? And I said, I didn't, that they had to go to a city council, we had to go to a town meeting. And so some of the uses that they might agree to on that list, which are the ones I think we've red flagged, would be complex for us to try to get through a town meeting. And then we raised the question of, you know, what does that mean? If Marlboro says everything on Donald Lynch Boulevard that's in Marlboro now can have any of these uses, does the overlay take precedent and say, you know, because we don't agree that they can't agree, they can't use those uses on their side, you know, and they
Right,
said,
well, I guess part
then
of
they
my
said,
question
well,
is,
we've done some research and, you know, is there an overlay? you know.
Right, so part of my question is it's Bader's gone. Does that mean that attorney is also no longer in the
Yeah.
conversation?
I don't think he's in the play now.
Right, so I think it would behoove us to pretend that conversation never happened going forward unless they bring it up again.
Yeah, but that question still needs to be raised because other people were in the room from Marlboro who heard it, you know, and I think that they may very well say, well, you know, we're moving forward, because why else would they say to us, all you have to do is agree, you know?
Because especially the mayor at the time had that level of arrogance,
Well, this was the new
especially
mayor.
towards us. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because Meredith and he came along to the meeting.
okay.
Couldn't one of us approach the mayor? Simply ask the question, is this agreement in force in your view?
I don't know, is the mayor's the right one to answer the question?
Yeah, he won't have.
Well, the mayor would delegate it to either one of his peers or to his council.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to get our ducks in a row a little more with our town council and then have councils begin to speak to each other, because that's the way you're gonna unravel this. It's,
Right.
I mean, the mayor is gonna be in the same position that we are, sort of scratching our heads saying, I don't know what the legal binding requirements are for this, so.
I think it's often very helpful when the principals speak with each other.
Yeah, but of course, we have a couple times, and you know, we haven't, I don't think they've realized the full implications of what they're moving forward with. Because there were also a whole series of other requirements or suggestions in the report about modification to lot size and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if Marlboro moved forward with those changes as this, at the same time they move forward with these. Have they also modified their, you know, lot size requirement, frontage requirements, all that sort of stuff?
But aren't you asking, or isn't the group asking whether or not the overlay agreement is force?
Yeah, and I don't think the mayor's the one to answer that question.
Okay. All right.
Right. I do get the impression that they're not looking for a giant amount of housing over there.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with all of the other projects they've got going on in town.
Right.
So that's at least comforting.
Well, and the water usage with the apartment complex just changes the dynamic, right?
Sure, and they've got 3 big ones going in right now that are not online yet.
Yeah, so,
So who knows what the strain on their system's gonna be when those all come online. Cool.
what else we got?
You wanted to talk about the lighting at,
Oh, yes, thanks. I
not a
talked to the
problem.
building inspector and he asked 2 questions. One was, he said that the lawyer for the golf sign installation said, go ahead, light it. And I said, well, the planning board said you can install it because we thought that was a nice compromise, but you can't light it until we make some determination as to whether it's going to impact Gates Pond Road. And he said, yep, I know that. But he said that when he talked to the golf people, they said their lawyer had said, don't worry, just go ahead and light it. So I don't know if it's lit.
Where, I'm trying to think
It'll
of
be on
where
the
the,
back side next to
Muyas.
Booyah and, So Muya's lit. And what's that, Top Nail? Is it Top Nail that's in there?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
nail place there.
Nail place, those two
Mm.
signs are lit at night,
Okay,
but they're not
So-
very bright.
right, and those don't impact Gates Pond Road because they're just that much further back.
So the way that our definition is written, any light lead that affects the neighborhood is not allowed.
Okay, what color is the golf sign? Like,
Got-
is it
got
white or is
green
it a
in
color?
Green and white or something. We need someone that wanders through that neighborhood at night alone, or with friends to check it out.
You might
Well-
not be able to see it because there's enough screening there, but when the tree cover comes down, that's
It
when they
might-
become visible.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We
True,
need advice. Someone needs to take a field trip.
I can certainly pay better attention. I can, A, tell you if it's lit, and B, tell you if you can see it.
Don't
That'd be
crack.
great.
Last time I was up there at night was Sunday night and I did not notice it. So if it is lit, it is not
It's
because you
not
know,
very bright. No,
right,
I
you
agree.
notice, I notice these things,
Absolutely. And
especially light pollution.
Yes.
Now, the other thing that he said was that, is it Emerson? Urgent care, is it Emerson?
Yeah.
The light fixtures on the side of that building got changed.
Did they?
I didn't notice.
The
A while-
string, the string of lights along that whole back building that when you come around Murphy's Corner look like a runway?
So he said that in our bylaw, we say shoebox,
Correct.
and they, when they replaced them, didn't use shoebox. And
They
he
didn't-
said that he asked them to add additional screening, which I think they did. But he's not convinced that it meets it's not shoebox. And he wanted to know how we felt about that. So again, it sounds like a field trip
Okay,
for someone in the neighborhood.
I can put on my list to check out all of the lights up there. Just to see if anything,
And then we could sort of go
Yeah,
back
that-
and look at our language next time we meet, and then give him some advice and feedback. Yeah, that'd
We
be,
definitely said shoebox.
yeah,
And we definitely said that it can't be no more than 2 foot candles outside of the perimeter of the property.
yeah.
so, but how do you measure that? If you're driving down the street and you can see the light,
You stand at the edge of the property, and if it's more than 2 foot-pounds or 2 candle, foot-pound candle, whatever, however it's lumens, however it's measured at the property line, if it exceeds that, then it's no good. Now, if it's underneath that, but you still can see it from while you're driving, if as long as it's below the threshold, then I don't think we have an argument there.
Right.
Just because it's visible. I mean, you take a light, even a Bic lighter, and you put it out on a boat that's 2 miles off the coast with all black around it, you're gonna see it,
right?
you
So
know?
Yeah.
how would one measure to candle power?
So they gotta measure, there is, I'm assuming we've run into this before, where they've had somebody with a light meter at the edge of the property demonstrate that it was X amount of foot candles, or, whatever the definition is in our bylaw.
And the edge of the property that they own
Yes,
or the build out or the building envelope?
at the edge of the property line.
So it's not gonna be. Because they own all of the land in the back that, I mean, they probably own from the back of that building to the edge of the property line. tenth of a mile.
Is it that far?
It's big. Yeah.
Chunky? Hmm.
Okay. Anyway,
Right, so we should think about how we define that for future anything, because the edge of the property isn't where the problem is. The problem is coming around the corner and seeing the runway of light. You know,
But when they were shoebox style, did you notice them?
they have been noticeable since they put them on the building,
Okay. Is that just because? of
because
the
it's up
elevation
high
change?
too,
Yeah, it's the elevation change.
you know? So I'm not convinced that there really is a way to eliminate that visual from the road.
If they put them at the edge of where the fence line is, because there's a fence along the edge right there. If they
Yep.
put lights there and face them back towards the.
That
building,
would be-
help?
Significantly,
hmm,
I wonder if that's a solution for them. They're
right,
probably gonna say no, because they have to electrify that.
yeah.
right. They'd have to dig all that pavement up and,
So that was his question, and so I think we understand the parameters of that. Then the other question was, in our bylaw, it says an accessory use in a residential zone cannot exceed 25% of the square footage of the primary residence. And he's got people that are sort of saying, well, I want to build a barn that's going to be half again as big as the house or whatever. And, I'm a carpenter and I want to put my equipment in there and stuff. So we just said, do we want to look at that again? And whether, and then I just said, okay, because we're doing the zoning stuff with, Jane, and I said, we can look at that as part of our big list of things that we pay attention to. See what other people are doing in other towns and stuff.
Okay.
So those are the two.
cool.
Excellent.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. See you in December.
Hey, wait a minute. We've got a whole month.
Oh, no,
Hey, when are Christmas trees coming in?
November, whatever the hell it is, probably the 22nd.
Oh, wow.
November 22nd. Look
That
at
is
that.
1 month from today.
Yep.
That is bananas.
That is bananas.
Well, hey,
Ugh.
actually, first, second, third, fourth. No, Thanksgiving's the 28th.
Yeah.
Correct, it's late.
No, we won't have trees to the 29th.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
there'll be trees before that. There'll probably be trees on the 25th or so.
I feel much better now.
25th instead of the 26th, 22nd.
That also means that we could get snow between now and then.
Holy Mary, yeah, because we've had.
Yeah, with today being
no.
72 degrees.
Right,
or
I'm
whatever
sitting
it
here
was.
with the windows open and, short pants on
Yeah,
and,
I
Yeah.
painted the front of Village Power today and yesterday, and I'm gonna finish the second coat tomorrow, and I'm gonna bale Sudan grass tomorrow. It's
yeah.
fantastic. I love this global warming. It's great.
That's what I said when the meeting started. I was down the
All
Cape
right.
yesterday. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want a motion so people don't have to listen to us chit chat?
Sure.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded, and it's non-discussable, so I'll ask you to vote. Motion is to adjourn the meeting. Carolyn McDonald,
Aye.
Timothy Wheeler,
Aye.
Tom Sanford, aye. Motion carries unanimous. Meeting
Thanks,
adjourned.
Peter.
Thanks, Peter.